Good evening, everyone. This is NCFroWineNerd. This is another episode of my latest adventure. I became a traveling wine guide about 30 days ago. Traveling Vineyard is a company predicated upon the fact of bringing great wines to the masses. It's just another one of my many hustles. This is probably the first time in a long time that I've actually had a position, like a sales position, that actually is kind of fun. It's not difficult because I'm trying not to drink up or eat up all of my product. This week has been testament to that. I've had my launch event and then I had another event, and I'm finding that a lot of my props are kind of spread all over North Carolina. I still cannot find my decanter. That's one of the basic things that I learned this week. The second thing I did this week was I voted early. I would suggest, we have only a few more days to the general election. If you can't get out and vote early, I think maybe yesterday was the last day in some places, because the general election, I believe, is November 6th. I actually became more educated. I know about the tightly held races here in North Carolina. I made a couple comments on Facebook as far as the race in Georgia and Florida, and the race and the rhetoric itself has gotten more and more vicious to the point that I've gone on radio silence. I really don't want to let that much negativity into my life at this time. This week has been all about positivity. I'm positive. I don't want to practice full time. That's another thing I've learned this week. I'm positive that I don't want to have Alzheimer's, or even though I've seen like TIAs all this week. I'm also positive if I'm going to be a success with Traveling Vineyard. I cannot eat the samples of food that I'm supposed to test the wine with. Oh my gosh. And I need to create a list of my props to make sure they're all in one place. That is crazy. I've also realized that my Mac hadn't been booted up in almost 9 months, and it takes a while for any new program to load. It won't you get bumped out of Google. It doesn't update. It won't automatically sync, and you get kicked off the cloud. Craziness. If I can be of any benefit to anyone in this computer age, make sure you take your updates hours before you're supposed to do a presentation, because it will take 3 hours, almost 3 hours, for your Mac to update. And it will act like it has been hacked because it's been eons since you've used anything on the Mac. And that's my story. That's what I'm sticking to it. So also, why am I have this new hustle? I always like to make money, and if I can have as much fun as possible, I'm going to really do that. And how many jobs can you basically sit in front of your computer, teach people about something new, they buy it from you, and they can agree or disagree, but hopeful people will buy. And I get to wear my University of Mary Washington College sweatshirt that I actually found because I had that packed away for about a year. Hooray for me. I'm finally unpacking from my venture in Oregon. That's a great lead in, because what am I going to teach you today that you don't already know about wine? We're going to do two things. First, the reason why I made that remark about Oregon, everyone that knows me know I hated my time in Oregon. Big ups to my people in Coos Bay. I love y'all, hated Coos Bay. But one of the things I did find out about Washington State as well as Oregon, they have a lock on the Pinot Noir market. However, not on this particular wine. Because during this episode of NC Fro, I'm going to premiere and show you how to taste wine using one of Traveling Vineyard's new releases. It's called Never Have I Ever. We have great names to our wines, evidently. This wine is also not expensive at all. I think probably the most expensive wine I actually have on my list is about $22. And what I was alluded to previously was the Washington, that whole Columbia River area actually has a lock on Pinot Noir in this country. I think France will actually beg to disagree. But this particular wine itself is a varietal from Australia. This is a 2017 vintage. It's approximately $15, I believe, on my website. And that's one of the things I'm going to demonstrate. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen because I want to demonstrate where you can actually purchase this wine. Through my Facebook invite, you can navigate to my TV wine mytv.wine/10559731. And the website itself looks like this. For all those outside orders, when you click on the link itself, it basically will take you to here. You not only will be able to purchase Never Have I Ever, but I also have, as a new release as of the previous week, the Zapatazo Torrontés, which is a flavorful white wine. I believe this is actually a product of Argentina. Both of these wines are available on my site, and they are both to be purchased under 20 bucks. Not only are these the featured wines on my site, you also have access to the rest of our wines, whether they be red, white, dry, other varieties. It also stops you, that's a really good stop there, where it actually shows you have to be 21 years old to be able to not only peruse the featured wines, but also all the other accessories that I'm going to be demonstrating tonight, as well as the other pouring and a lot of other gifts and accessories for the upcoming holiday season. So let's get to it. We're going to, the next part of this, I'm going to demonstrate just some general knowledge about wine opening, as well as demonstrating one of my newest toys. This is an electronic wine opener, wine bottle opener that I actually have available on my site. I believe the price of this is $39.95. It is so worth it. It's actually a rechargeable wine opener, and I am not only going to I'm going to demonstrate the use of it with my bottle of wine itself. I'm hopeful, as well as talking about the proper way to experience wine. So if you can see this actually here, you basically place this on the top of the bottle itself, give it a little press down, and you will actually just click the button. And as it removes or goes down into the cork itself, it actually, with no effort, I mean, literally, a fully charged electric wine bottle opener will not only cut the foil, but also penetrate the cork and remove it easily. And there you go. One of the things that I learned from previous tastings is that you should actually let, especially reds, like Pinot Noirs, Cabernets are the most common two red wines that most people drink, and Merlots. You should actually allow it to breathe. But for the purposes of this demonstration, I am going to speed up, so to speak, that process by using an aerator. This is not the exact aerator that I actually have available on my site, because this is one of the items that is MIA in all of my accessories. I believe it's actually in the dishwasher. Actually, I think it is in a dishwasher in my rental house in Lumberton, but I haven't been able to find it because I forgot to look there. Duh. So I'm going to use my Rabbit aerator that I actually was able to get for free when I went to one of the food and wine networks, the South Beach Wine and Food Festival, that one of the 4 that I actually went to. As I said, this is called a Rabbit. We have something similar also available on the site that I think you'll actually enjoy using if I could ever get a hold of one. So this wonderful thing actually introduces oxygen into the bottle. As you pour, it allows the wine to open up. What exactly does that mean? It allows the molecules themselves to separate so you can actually experience the taste of wine. You should basically, in a wine tasting, you should just never open up a bottle and start gulping. What you should actually, to be able to fully appreciate the wine itself, you look at the wine, you smell the wine, taking note of what does it smell like? Is it fruity? Do you only smell alcohol? Is there pepper or licorice? You'll see me or hear me say these things as we experience the wine itself. So, and then what does it actually taste? Does it taste as it smells? As you are sipping the wine itself, you basically should inhale, because not only are you experience the wine on your tongue, and also various parts of your tongue will actually allow you to experience all the flavors of wine themselves differently. But as you inhale, you're also still using your nose to actually experience the wine itself. If you are at a tasting, and I'm going to suggest that you can actually contact me through Facebook, or just shoot me an email if you would like me to do an in-home tasting itself. You'll do this in multiple stages. And then we'll actually introduce different bites of things, because it actually enhances those flavors even more. And you can't rush it. You know what I mean? So for the purposes of this, usually during a tasting itself, the host pours. Everyone gets their own clean traveling vineyard glass. The host, generous or not, pours approximately 2 ounces of wine. And if you notice, one of the things, I'm over 2 ounces, but the aerator itself, again, is introducing oxygen that will actually separate and aerate the molecules to allow you to experience the wine itself. And yes, this is actually way over 2 ounces. 2 ounces is actually down here. One of the things that you will actually take note of, again, is what is the color of the wine. For this particular, you'll see me look down because I'm actually referring to my tasting cards. As I get more familiar with the wines themselves, I won't have to refer to these, but these are very good these come in handy as I'm doing presentations. I'm hopeful that as I get better at this, I won't have to refer to my cards, but at this time, I'm still a noob, so there you go. So you hold up the wine to the light. One of the things that you'll notice about the Pinot is the color itself. It's a ruby red color, not very dark. I'm kind of on the dark side. This particular is not as dark as the Merlot or a Malbec that I also have in my selection. The other thing that you do with wine is not only do you aerate it, you swirl. Most of the time you would actually do this on the table. You take this stem and you would swirl it around. But for my purposes, I'm going to try to be as careful as I possibly can. This actually allows me to swirl and to appreciate the legs. What does that mean? You basically are watching just how fast the wine coasts down the side of the glass. The slower it goes, the more full-bodied it is, and the less sugar content it has. This takes a sweet time going down the side of the glass because it's a Pinot, it's a red wine, it's pretty dry. You then swirl, probably I would swirl again, you take a sniff. What am I noticing? Pretty much, with this particular variety, I get a hint of raspberry, cherries. I don't smell an underbrush or mushrooms. I get a citrusy smell to it. I don't, with this particular variety, now, I don't get an oak. Of course, I don't really smell, I do smell a hint of alcohol. There is a bit of an acidity to it, but not so much that it's overwhelming in itself. And I'm going to go back over my notes to make sure that I haven't forgotten anything. One of the things, I mostly smell raspberries, maybe a little bit of cherry, but mostly raspberries in this particular, what we call balanced wine. You'll hear me say things like balanced, light, crisp, acidic, but one of the things that I will hope to never hear my wine is described as is flabby, because that's a flat wine, it has no body, and it should not be drank. That should never be used to describe any of the vintages that are with Traveling Vineyard. So let's go over the first parts of the tasting itself. We take a look at the ruby red color. We notice the long legs, and the smell. Again, a powerful smell, acidic, and a little bit of raspberry. Maybe a little bit of strawberry, and then I'm going to go ahead and taste it. I get more strawberries when I actually taste. And a good thing, if you can learn to do it without choking, you can also taste. Licorice. It has a licoricey kind of finish. That's what the last taste that you actually feel as the wine courses down the back of your throat. And that was actually pretty pleasant. I've actually had other Pinots that have kind of like a, I don't know, it's a taste that is not a necessarily good taste in Pinots, but this actually has a nice licoricey kind of finish to it. That's not wholeheartedly unpleasant. I actually like that a lot. That's actually very, very good. This particular wine is also shared, of course, with my favorite things, pork. However, fried chicken wings go really well with this, as well as potato chips. And this is the second part of the tasting itself that people actually, how do you experience the food with it? You take a bite of food, you chew it, you take a sip of wine, you chew a little more, and you take another sip. I swear it will enhance the taste of the wine itself. I'm going to use, you can use barbecue potato chips or plain potato chips or hot, fiery Frito. So I'm going to chew, sip, continue chewing. That's good. Again, that licorice finish actually does something really well for the Cheeto itself. This also should pair really well with fried chicken. I'm going to take a piece of this Chester's fried chicken. I'm going to chew, sip. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's really good. And I also have a little outlier because I was at Harris Teeter and they actually had star fruit available. I was looking for an alternative because now watermelon is out of season. So I wanted to test this, and it goes great with scrambled eggs. I had it for breakfast this morning, but since I was doing my wine and I had another half left, I wanted to test it with my star fruit. Ooh. Mm. And that's one of the things that you'll find out. You should not mix certain foods with certain wines. Star fruit does not go well with Never Have I Ever. And I would have never known that if I hadn't tried it. So, fiery hot Cheetos, fried chicken, perfect. Not so much with the star fruit though. That's actually really good. So, and I've been actually planning on doing this for a while. I'm going to share my screen because I am particularly proud of this particular presentation. I'm going to be adding to this presentation as I go along in my career. The spotlight wine for tonight is Pinot Noir. I've actually experienced all of these vintages on this particular slide, but I wanted to basically share with you some of the education just in general of wine that I wanted to impart to the masses, so to speak. Why is that doing that? That's just weird. Okay, so I am going to figure out. You know, sometimes these things don't act right, but that's okay. That's okay. Oops. How do you do next slide in? Well, it's not going to let me do that. Why is this preview instead of, because I have the wrong one. I needed this one to be up. Great. I'm learning, as I said, I'm learning a lot about my technology. So this is going to take me a minute. Let me start this again. Why don't I? Okay, here we go. So wine itself is a wonderful thing. I've actually, as I was saying, I actually have experienced all of these varieties within Traveling Vineyard. And it's amazing how each one of them are different, and how each you have a different experience with each one. From one of the things that I did notice from my launch is that the winner was the drier Chardonnay and the Muscat from California Hoop. Both of these wines pair very well with a variety of different foods. And it was just like a lot of fun when I was doing my first launch, being able to experience this with a group. Trying to figure out how I could easily advance the slides without having to keep navigating back and forth with the navigator screen, but that doesn't actually, it's not helpful. So I am going to share this particular table with you. This is only a demonstration of the hundreds of different types of wines that are available. Some are vintage wines or old vines. Some of these are less known wines from different parts of the world. I think it's just amazing that as Americans, how little or how few of these wines that are available that we don't even experience in this country. For example, everyone knows about Sauvignon Blancs and Chardonnay, but they don't know about lesser varieties like Greco and Garganega. They don't know about any of those types of wines. My whole experience, I'm hoping to be able to experience at least one of these wines, finding out where they are located and basically being able to experience those wines. Some of these varieties are available in Traveling Vineyard, but not all of them. One of the things that you will notice about wines themselves, the actual chemical process to experience wine or how wines are made is basically the same. It's basically a chemical reaction in which you basically modify the carbon rings and you add different things that will give it its different color as well as its different taste. How much of these modifications you make and what additives you actually do gives wine its distinctive flavor. And as far as the wine that I actually featured tonight, you get the strawberry raspberry sensation, as well as, I'm supposed to taste cinnamon and ginger. Actually, when I taste this again, the finish itself does have, you can actually distinguish a little bit of ginger, but I mostly still taste that licorice finish itself. And why do I want to basically experience, or why am I actually doing all of this? It's because, for one very simple reason. I want to make enough profits, not only to fund my way to 2019's Food and Wine Festival, hopefully in Aspen, but I actually want this to be added to my kitchen at some point in the next year. This Euro Cave revelation is itself a revelation. And this particular model is about 13 grand. What in the world? But I'm hopeful that I can actually build up my business so much that I'll actually be able to purchase this in a year. Who knows? I know that I will be in North Carolina, will be my home. I know that over the next year, I'm going to have to temporarily work elsewhere, but that's okay. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the new education. I'm looking forward to the new experiences. And I'm also looking forward to a new year as an ambassador for traveling vineyards and getting wine out to the masses. And hopefully we'll all be able to experience wine in a different way, and we'll be able to learn something. It's all a great chemical reaction. And for the nerds, those chemistry nerds of us, will be able to experience it. This is a full product of all the chemistry that we were forced to take in school. And I hope this will be a lot more fun than Dr. Christman's Chemistry 101. And basically that's it for me for today. I actually am going to modify this because I don't think this is the correct website. I am going to while I'm here, put the correct website in there. I need to increase that size. If it'll let me, that is. Nope. That you can actually travel to experience my wine in itself is my TV wine 10559731. This is NCFroWineNerd. I'm actually getting ready to sign off. Actually, this has been very enjoyable. I apologize for the technical difficulties. I will get better. That is my promise to myself and to you. I hope that you will navigate to the site and purchase this particular wine. It's a great red wine. As I said, it goes well with fiery Cheetos as well as chicken. Fried chicken in particular does not go well with star fruit. And I hope next week I'll be able to post another NCFroWineNerd and we'll learn a little bit more. I hope you all have a great day. This ends another episode. Take care.